All right, this video is again on integration by parts, except these problems are harder because we're going to have to do this twice. Let's get rolling. On this problem right here, it's pretty clear that we're going to let f of x be equal to x squared, because that's the one that when we take the derivative of it, it will eventually be 0. Now, our g prime of x is going to be e to the x, and that makes total sense, right? Because we want to choose g prime of x to be the thing that we can easily integrate. The integral of e to the x is, in fact, e to the x. All right, now we're ready to plug into our formula. So this integral is in this form right here. So the answer to that integral is going to be f of x times g of x. In this case, that is x squared times e to the x. And now I have to do minus the integral of f prime of x, which is 2x, times g of x, which is e to the x. Now, unfortunately, we don't know how to take the integral of this. In the last video we watched, we were able to find the integral and then we were done. What we're going to have to do is this whole process over again, where I'm going to let f of x equal something, f prime of x equals something, g of x, g prime of x. And you're probably getting the hang of this, but our f of x is going to be 2x because the derivative is going to give us 2. Our integral will be e to the x again, and not the integral, but our g prime of x is going to be e to the x. Then I integrate it to go in this direction, and I get e to the x. Again, if you ever need to check that, you take the derivative of this, and you should get that. All right, what we need to do now is really be smart about our parentheses. I just dropped that down, but now I've got minus, and now I'm going to put a whole big bracket because I need to take this integral and do this whole process with it. So my f of x g of x is going to be 2x e to the x minus the integral of f prime of x, which in this case is 2, and then g of x, which is e to the x. Now I can integrate 2e to the x. So this is going to be x squared e to the x. I'm going to distribute this. This is going to be a minus 2x e to the x. And then the integral of 2e to the x is just 2e to the x. Now I've got a minus with the minus, so this is going to be a plus. Then I'm going to go ahead and remember my plus c. So folks, it's the same exact process, except you have to remember to do it twice if when you integrate, you get something that you don't know how to integrate. All right, here's number 5. All right, our f of x in this particular problem is going to be equal to x squared. My f prime of x is going to be 2x. My g prime of x is going to be equal to e to the 2x. Now, integrating that to go up here, I'm going to actually have 1/2 e to the 2x. And if you're like, whoa, where did you get that? The reason is because of chain rule. Remember, we take the derivative of our outside and we keep our inside. So the derivative of e to the 2x is just e to the 2x. But then don't forget to take the derivative of the inside, which gives you 2. And that's why I need that 1/2 here, because the 2 and the 1/2 would cancel and give me the 1 that I need for right here. So we'll talk a little bit more in class about that, but trust me on there. All right, so now going ahead and we're going to do f of x times g of x. That gives me an x squared times 1/2 e to the 2x. I'm just going to throw that 1/2 out in front and just have e to the 2x. Now I've got to do minus the integral of f prime of x, which in this case is 2x, times g of x, which is going to be a 1/2 e to the 2x. Let's go ahead and take some time to simplify this integral, I'm just going to rewrite this here. Well, the 2 times the 1/2 actually become just 1, so I can rewrite this as x e to the 2x dx. And if you're like, whoa, what just happened? All I did was multiply by 2 times 1/2, and that's a 1, so those numbers disappear. At this point, we have to identify the fact that we cannot integrate this, and so we have to do integration by parts again. So I'm going to let f of x be equal to x, which means my derivative of that is 1. My g prime of x is going to be e to the 2x. And again, the integral of that gives me 1/2 e to the 2x. All right, so let's just be really careful with our parentheses here. I have minus, and now this whole thing in brackets is going to be these two expressions here. So my f of x times g of x, which is this right here, is going to be x times 1/2 e to the 2x. So I'm multiplying those two things. So that's going to give me a 1/2 x e to the 2x. And then I have to do minus the integral of f prime of x, which in this case is 1, so I'm not even going to write it. And my g of x is 1/2 e to the 2x. Okay, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pull that 1/2 out in front. So I'm going to take some time to rewrite this. Not changed anything here, except for I'm going to pull this 1/2 out. And now I'm just left with integrating e to the 2x, and we've done that twice already. The integral of e to the 2x is this, and the integral of e to the 2x is exactly what I have down below. So the integral of e to the 2x is going to be 1/2 e to the 2x. Now don't forget to bring down your minus 1/2 here. And then I'm just going to recopy everything. All right. Now doing this, I know that my minus 1/2 times 1/2 is going to give me a 1/4. Okay, so rewriting that, I'm going to get 1/2 x squared e to the 2x, and I'm going to do the distributive property here as well. Minus 1/2 x to the e to the 2x, and then a minus minus here becomes a plus, and the 1/2 times 1/2 becomes a 1/4, and then we have e to the 2x. Don't forget your plus c. So this is our final answer. And I know that was quite a bit of work, but you just got to keep track of everything that you have. All right, let's try one more. Okay, here, this is not necessarily times 2. It's actually going to be integration by parts and then use substitution. And you may want to star this problem, it's pretty important. So here we've got f of x is equal to 4x. So our f prime of x is going to be equal to 4. My g prime of x is going to be equal to a whopping sine of 5x. Give myself a little more room there. And my g prime of, sorry, that's my g prime, my g of x, I have to integrate. This is just like that e to the 2x problem. Because of the chain rule, this is going to be a 1/5, and it's going to be a cosine, 1/5 cosine of 5x, and then I realized that it actually has to be a negative. And so let's check that. Is the derivative of a negative cosine sine? Yes, it is. Now, keep your baby, so keep your 5x. Now take the derivative of your inside. The derivative of 5 is 5. And that's what cancels with the 1/5 to get you a 1 out in front like you needed. And we are going to take some time to talk about how the heck I just did what I did. in class. So don't panic if you don't get that completely. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fill in f of x, g of x, which in this case is going to be 4x times a negative 1/5 cosine of 5x. Go. And then minus the integral of f prime of x times g of x. In this case, that's going to be 4 times this. So that's going to give us a minus 4/5 because I'm doing 4 times negative 1/5. That's a negative 4/5, and then that's going to be a cosine 5x. Okay, now let's go ahead and simplify a little bit. 4x times a negative 1/5 gives me a negative 4x over 5 cosine 5x. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out the negative 4/5, so I'm actually going to have a plus 4/5 out in front, and then the integral of a cosine 5x dx. All right, at this point, you can actually do u substitution here. What I mean by that is you could let u be equal to 5x, which means your du is going to be equal to 5, and then that'd be 5 dx. And notice how I have a perfect match with the 5x, but I don't have a 5. So I would need to make sure I put in a 5 right here, which would mean that I would have to multiply by 1/5 out here. Okay. Now I actually have 4 over 25 out here, and then my 5 dx becomes a du, and this just becomes cosine of u. Now integrating cosine of u gives me just plain old sine of u, and don't forget my 4 over 25. And then just remember that I'm plugging back in for u, so the integral of this is going to be 4 over 25 sine of 5x. All right, and then I can just go ahead and drop this whole gosh darn thing down. So minus 4x over 5 cosine of 5x. And then we've got a plus, and then don't forget your plus c. Now this is a problem you will be responsible for, so I know it's difficult, but we've got to practice this and wrap our heads around it. Thanks for watching.